Welcome to Liminal Lab, where we blend immersive liminal spaces with AI. In this video, you're invited on a research-driven journey into the science and philosophy behind liminal spaces, the uncanny, nostalgic, and strangely soothing environments that have captured the internet's imagination. You will experience a brief overview of what makes a space liminal, with references to foundational research in anthropology and psychology. You will hear insights from neuroscientific studies revealing why these in-between places feel so uncanny, and sometimes comforting. You will explore why memory, nostalgia, and empty places can trigger emotions tied to our past or even to memories we never actually lived. And, finally, you will look at cultural theory and how liminal aesthetics have become a phenomenon online, reflecting deeper questions about identity, transition, and meaning. Whether you're here to study, relax, or explore the mysteries of the in-between, you're in the right place. Let's begin our journey into the research and resonance of liminal spaces. Part 1. Anthropological Foundations. In 1909, French anthropologist Arnold van Gennep published a nominal paper, introducing the concept of liminality as the transitional phase in rituals. He identified a three-part structure, comprising of separation, liminality, and reincorporation. The liminal phase, derived from the Latin word limen, which means threshold, is characterized by ambiguity, openness, and indeterminacy. Individuals in this phase are betwixt and between, no longer holding their previous status but not yet transitioned to the next. Victor Turner, building on van Gennep's work, argued that liminality suspends normal social roles and hierarchies, fostering what he called communitas, a sense of shared humanity that transcends everyday divisions, as he wrote in 1969. Turner's ethnographic research with Ndembu people revealed that liminal states are not only transitional but transformational, creating opportunities for personal and collective change. Recent neuroscience supports these anthropological insights. For instance, functional MRI studies show that ambiguous, uncertain states activate regions of the brain associated with heightened attention, emotional processing, and social cognition, as presented by Fan et al. In 2011. This may explain why liminal experiences, whether ritualistic or spatial, are so psychologically charged. Part 2. Environmental Psychology and Spatial Dissonance. Environmental psychology investigates how physical settings shape human behavior and emotion. In 1968, Roger Barker's ecological psychology assumed that behavior settings strongly influence how people act and feel. When familiar spaces, like schools or malls, are empty, the absence of expected activity disrupts these patterns. According to Festinger's research in 1957, this disruption leads to cognitive dissonance, a psychological tension resulting from conflicting expectations and reality. Furthermore, neuroscientific research shows that such violations of expectation activate the brain's anterior cingulate cortex, increasing alertness and sometimes discomfort. The uncanny valley effect, originally described by Masahiro Mori in 2012 in robotics, is now recognized in architecture. According to it, spaces that are almost, but not quite, as expected, evoke unease. Liminal spaces, such as empty corridors and abandoned offices, fall into this category, appearing familiar yet subtly off. Neuroarchitecture research by Sally Augustine highlights that empty spaces designed for crowds can trigger a hypervigilant state, heightening sensory awareness and introspection. This may underpin the intensity of emotional and nostalgic responses reported in liminal spaces. Part 3. Cultural Theory and Hauntology. Mark Fisher's concept of 2009, called capitalist realism, explores how late capitalism creates a sense of inevitability, making alternatives seem impossible. Liminal spaces, like empty school corridors and shuttered offices, are physical manifestations of this mood. They are sites of hauntology, a term Fisher used to describe the persistence of lost futures and unrealized possibilities. These environments are not just empty, they are haunted by the promise of progress and prosperity that was never fully realized. Fisher argues that such spaces evoke collective nostalgia and anxiety, making visible the contradictions of contemporary society. This finding is reinforced by recent studies in cultural geography and urban studies, which analyze how abandoned or transitional spaces reflect broader economic and social shifts. Liminal spaces, thus, become both artifacts of memory and symbols of societal transformation. Part 4. Phenomenology, Memory, and Place. In 1971, philosopher Martin Heidegger distinguished between abstract space and lived place, arguing that place is foundational to human experience. In 1958, Gaston Bachelard's work, called The Poetics of Space, further explored how intimate spaces, like attics, cellars and corridors, become vessels for memory and imagination. Neuroscientific research on nostalgia demonstrates that childhood environments and emotionally significant places activate multiple brain regions, blending memory with imagination. Liminal spaces, stripped of their usual social function, act as phenomenological triggers, prompting reflection, longing, and creative reverie. Moreover, Bachelard's work suggests that the emptiness of liminal spaces invites projection. In this, viewers fill the void with personal memories and imagined scenarios, making these places uniquely evocative. Part 5. Digital Culture and Internet Aesthetics. The rise of liminal space aesthetics in the online world reflects the intersection of digital culture and psychological response. Since the late 2010s, platforms like Reddit and Tumblr have popularized images of empty, transitional spaces, often tagged as liminal spaces, weirdcore, or dreamcore. Academic studies in digital media, such as the one by Grafton Tanner in 2016, link this trend to collective nostalgia and a search for meaning, in an era of rapid technological change. The viral backrooms creepypasta exemplifies how internet communities reimagine liminal spaces as sites of both horror and comfort, blurring the line between memory, imagination, and anxiety. At the same time, research in media studies suggests that these digital aesthetics serve as coping mechanisms, offering viewers a way to process uncertainty and change by aestheticizing the in-between. Part 6. Emotional Resonance and Personal Reflection. Why do liminal spaces resonate so deeply? Psychological research indicates that humans are inherently transitional beings. As Bridges points in his 2004 work, humans are constantly navigating thresholds between past and future, certainty and ambiguity. Liminal spaces mirror this existential condition. They serve as metaphors for personal growth, loss, and transformation. By occupying these spaces, even virtually, viewers can confront and process feelings of nostalgia, anxiety, and hope. Studies in environmental psychology and phenomenology highlight the therapeutic potential of engaging with liminal environments, suggesting that such encounters can foster mindfulness, creativity, and emotional regulation. Part 7. Conclusion and research-driven call to action. Liminal spaces, as revealed by anthropology, psychology, philosophy, and digital culture, are more than just empty places. They are thresholds, they are sites of ambiguity, transformation, and meaning. The research shows that our fascination with these spaces is rooted in deep psychological and cultural processes. As you encounter liminal spaces, either online or in the real world, consider what memories, emotions, and possibilities they evoke for you. Share your own experiences in the comments. How have liminal spaces shaped your sense of self, memory, or creativity?